Man, it's been a while since I've hit part 40 in a project. But anyway, we're on the 4th floor of the pain area, as per, and I still continue to surprise myself that I managed to squeeze in a whole floor per video, when my first run took me an entire day. Like, I know I'm more experienced, and I know, like, just how powerful the damage multipliers can be, and I know how powerful getting an attack boost and then getting the all boost are, because they stack are. So if you can get all 3 of them, like tick all 3 boxes, you're ripping insane damage. But I'm still going through this eons quicker than I did my first play, my blind run of the new pain area. But that being said, I've actually got stuff to talk about today, and it's not me dying in this video. I have a close call at one point, but I actually do get through it. It's the fact that, you know, I was saying literally the other day, I wonder if they're going to do the Game Awards this year. Well, they are indeed doing the Game Awards this year, so I get to do what I did last year and talk about all the nominations and everything that can be voted on and what I think of them. As soon as I load it up. Alright, I'll start at the top of the list and just work down, and I'll explain what I voted and why as we go through it. So the top of the list is the Ultimate Game of the Year award, which is self-explanatory. The nominations are Doom Eternal, the Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing, and Last of Us Part 2. I put my vote on the Final Fantasy VII Remake because Doom Eternal was really fun, but it was just fun. Like, it wasn't blowing me away. Also, on the minimap, if you paid attention, you might have noticed I just ran past a curse ball. I just didn't spot it. There was a curse ball in that arena in the back corner, so I come back for that later, don't worry. But there's Doom Eternal, which is, as I say, it's fun, but it was just that. Like, once I finished it, I was like, yeah, that was pretty good. The 7 Remake is fucking phenomenal, and I genuinely cried at the end of it. It was such a beautiful game and experience, and I was just like, yeah, no, I have to put my vote on that. Ghost of Tsushima, I just haven't played it, so it wouldn't be fair for me to, like, just say it. Hades is fucking great fun, and I'm glad that it's been nominated, because it deserves recognition. Like, I don't think it competes with some of the other games on this list, but it absolutely deserves the recognition it's getting, because it is a fantastic game. Animal Crossing, I feel, is self-explanatory. It is an extremely fun and addictive little game. But I don't know, just for me personally, it's like, it doesn't have the scale that the other games have, so I just can't... I know that's like kind of a really biased way of looking at it, but all my votes are biased, so of course it is. But I just can't, in good conscience, vote for that. And The Last of Us Part 2... Gameplay-wise, it is an improvement over the first game, technically, but everything else is so aggravating to such a core level that I don't even know why it was nominated personally. I think it's only there because of Sony's push and influence to have all these god-tier reviews for it, even though when everyone actually got a hold of it, they were like, actually, this isn't great. So I'd be very disappointed if Last of Us Part 2 wins. I really would, because it would tell me that it would tell me what I already kind of know, and it's not that our votes don't mean as much as we like to think they do. But next is Best Game Direction. For outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. The nominations were Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, and Last of Us Part 2. Once again, Last of Us Part 2 I feel shouldn't be on there. Its game direction is part of the problem of why everyone hated it, so I like the fact that you're like, yeah, let's give it an award, that'd just be insulting. Working backwards though, Half-Life Alyx, I don't have VR, so I can't speak for. I haven't played it. I've heard it's really good, and a lot of people are really loving it, and I hope some point I will get to try it out, but I just haven't played it. Hades, once again, I just love the fact it's getting the recognition because it deserves it. Ghost of Tsushima, haven't played, can't speak for. As much as I wanted to give it to the 7 Remake, I already gave a vote to that for Game Awards, and I don't like trying to, I don't like doubling down unless I really feel like there's no other choice, so I gave it to Hades. Best Narrative, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Last of Us Part 2. Last of Us Part 2 can fuck off. Hades, I don't know if narrative is the reward I'd give it. It's good. It's got great game direction and a lot of other things, but its narrative is just fun. But I wasn't like invested personally. Ghost of Tsushima, can't speak for, and 13 Sentinels. I had every intention of playing, and I just never got around to it. I hesitantly voted Ghost of Tsushima though because I didn't want to just throw another one at the 7 remake after, like I said, I was a Game of the Year award. Art direction though, I did cave in and give it to the 7 remake because that game was breathtaking to me. But I can imagine Ghost of Tsushima as a whole will win that because I've seen what that game looks like. I've got a feeling it will take it. But the nominations for art direction is the 7 remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Actually, Ori might win it. Ori's got a really good art design, and of course Last of Us Part 2, because it's nominated for fucking everything, even though it deserves none of them. Art direction, Last of Us Part 2, no, it's too gritty and overly realistic. I don't like its design at all. Ori and the Will and the Wisps, Ori is beautiful, it doesn't matter if you've played it or not, you know how beautiful it is. Hades got a fantastic art direction, so I'd be happy with that getting it. But Ghost, like I said, I just think that's winning it. I don't see it not. I just think it's the most likely because of how they managed to find that balance and the fact that they've got all these filters and things that the game will react and respond to really become more exciting with its art direction. I just think it will take it. But the 7 remake, I just love the aesthetic of the game as a whole. Best score and music. I have a problem with this. I think they should have separated like actual soundtracks, so like composers' works and things like that. Like they should put more care into it. But I was saying the other day, my biggest hatred and negative feeling towards the Game Awards is how little they respect it. It feels like it just gets a throwaway. I wouldn't be surprised if this award is given out in the pre-show. But anyway, it's Doom Eternal, which is composed by Mick Gordon. Final Fantasy VII Remake, composed by the legendary Nobuo Uematsu, but you also had Masashi Hamazu, I probably butchered that name, and Mitsuto Suzuki with pieces as well. And you can tell when it's not Nobuo's work. Every single track in the 7 remake is fantastic, but you can tell the different styles. Hades, composed by Darren Norb, I think that is, or Korb. Ori and the Will and the Wisps, composed by Gareth Coker. And Last of Us Part 2, composed by Gustavo Santaolalla, sorry if I butchered it, and additional music by Mac Quayle. Can't speak for Last of Us Part 2 because I just don't remember its soundtrack, but I think for that alone it should tell you that you probably shouldn't. Ori is a beautiful soundtrack. Hades is a fun soundtrack. The 7 remake, I'm biased because Nobuo Uematsu is my all-time favourite composer, but that is, yeah. And Doom Eternal, Mick Gordon always does amazing work, and I wish Mick Gordon got more appreciation, like not just for his Doom work, but his Killer Instinct work as well. Like that dude has got talent. Personally, I'd give it to the Final Fantasy VII on my own bias, but I would be happy with Doom won it as well. But to be fair, I'd be happy if any of them but Last of Us Part 2 won it. Alright, best audio design, best in-game audio and sound design. That's Doom Eternal, Half-Life Alyx, Ghost of Tsushima, Resident Evil 3, and fucking The Last of Us Part 2. Last of Us Part 2, no. It's sound effects and design is alright, but it's really not anything special. Resident Evil 3's got the gory sound effects down to a T, but I don't know if it would win it on that alone. Ghost of Tsushima, if you heard, like with how they handle like the wind and the environmental destruction and the way they handle like the proper Japanese fights and such, it might have enough going for it to win. Half-Life Alyx I can't speak for. Doom Eternal is, I think it'd be a bit too loud for a lot of people to appreciate. I like it, but I just don't think people like the actual sound designs and the weapon designs. I think it's a bit too aggressive for everyone to be on board of it. Right, best performance. Ashley Johnson as Ellie from Last of Us Part 2. Laura Bailey as Abby from Last of Us Part 2. Daisuke Tsuji as Jin Sakai, Ghost of Tsushima. Logan Cunningham as Hades. And Naji Jetta as Miles Morales, Spider-Man. I'd give it to Miles Morales. Naji Jetta easily. He deserves it. Have you heard how much fun he had with that role and how much he bounces off it, and the way they have all the interactions with all the characters and everything? Like by a landslide, he deserves that one, I think. Logan Cunningham, I can't speak for because it's a fun voice, but he's just that for me, so I can't really say like, yeah, I'd vote for him. Daisuke absolutely does an amazing Jin, so I'd be happy if he won it too. And Ashley Johnson, Laura Bailey, they absolutely do fine performances of what they're given. I just think their direction wasn't great. Like, they do great performances, and if they win it, I wouldn't be bitter about it. Like, I wouldn't be annoyed by it. Like, as actresses, they deserve it. It's just the voice direction they got was questionable at times. Games with impact, thought-provoking games with a pro-social meaning or message. This one's an awkward one because I know mostly none of these. You have If Found by Dreamfeel, Kentucky Route Zero TV Edition by Cardboard Computer, Spiritfarer by Thunder Lotus Games, Tell Me Why by Don't Nod Entertainment, and Through the Darkness of Times. I'm going to be blunt. I voted for Tell Me Why for the simple reason of it's the only one I'd heard of before I looked at this list. And I was like, well, I've got to vote on something. It's the only one I've heard of, and that's all I can give it. Best ongoing. Game with outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. Apex, Destiny 2, COD Warzone, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky. Personally, I threw it at No Man's Sky because that game's commitment to fix all the problems it started with, I think, is a testament to its improvement. I think it does deserve recognition. Fortnite, it feels like it's just been beating the same drum for a year now. Like every time they do a new content, it feels too like we've done this before. Even when it actually is new, it still feels too familiar, so I don't want to give it to that. COD Warzone is a similar like Warzone is kind of the only interesting thing about Call of Duty right now, but they're still not doing necessarily enough in my mind to do it. Destiny 2, I know they've pushed that large expansion, but I haven't been a Destiny fan since a long time. So I can't really speak for it, and Apex I haven't played, so I can't speak for. Best indie, we got Carrion, which is a really fun game. Fall Guys, Hades, Splunky 2, and Spiritfarer. Spiritfarer is a beautiful game, but I don't think it's getting it for reasons that's obvious. Splunky 2, same deal. Splunky 2 is just a really fun game. It's hard as shit, and the difficulty is questionably bullshit. It's just read the future a lot of the time, which I've never really been a big fan of. But I'll let it slide. The game's fun. You know what you're getting into. Hades, finding out that game's an indie game, it was impressive all by itself. Like, that game is so well done. And Carrion is really fun and really, really aggressive. But I don't think enough people played it for it to get recognition, because we all know what's actually going to absorb this one, and it'll be Fall Guys. We already know it's going to absolutely absorb that award. Best mobile game, Among Us. We all know Among Us, I played it a bit, that's for good fun, even though it came out 2 years ago, so technically shouldn't count, but whatever. Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin, Legends of Runeterra, and Pokemon Cafe Mix. Pokemon Cafe Mix I found incredibly boring, so I'm not going to count that. Legends of Runeterra I'd never heard of, so I didn't want to count that. Call of Duty Mobile, it's alright, and I've heard good things, but not my interest. And Among Us I can imagine will absorb this award. Personally, because it's the trending game right now. I think it will take it. But personally, despite the problems and grievances I have, Genshin deserves it, because holy shit. Have you seen, like, even if you put aside the resins, like, even when you can acknowledge the criticisms towards the resin system and the gacha rates being kind of questionable, it's a giant ass open world game with a fully fleshed out story that is constantly getting new stuff added to it. Like, the actual new content is free, you just gotta level up for it. Like, it's so giving with how much content it's got. That alone should give it the reward I feel. Like, even unbiasedly, I feel like it should raw power that award because of how much is in it and how much content is a part of it. Best community support, can't really talk about this one because I tend to stay away from communities because a lot of them aren't nice. But Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Fall Guys, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky. Oh, sorry, and Valorant. I threw it at Fall Guys just because the Twitter for Fall Guys is pretty funny, and like, that's it, because I don't know their communities, so I can't really give it to that. Similarly, with Best VR and AR, I don't have VR, so I can't really speak on this. So, Dreams, Half-Life Alyx, Iron Man VR, Star Wars, and Walking Dead. I just threw it at Half-Life Alyx, so I was like, I don't know any of these, so it wouldn't be really fair. Innovation and accessibility, recognizing software and or hardware that is pushing the medium towards by adding features, technology, and content to help gamers be played and enjoyed at an even wider audience. Which isn't just as simple as make the game easier. That'll be games that add like the 1,000,001 cheat code. It's basically how much they cave into journalists is what this award's for, mostly. I'm kidding. There are a lot of things that are in place on a lot of these games that really help a wider variety of audience, especially ones with disabilities, to have more fun with them, and that deserves to be acknowledged. But the nominees are Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Grounded, Hyperdot, Last of Us Part 2, and Watch Dogs Legion. I haven't played Assassin's Creed game in years, so don't know how they handle it. Grounded, I heard, is really good with how it is. I haven't actually played it, but I've heard people go on about it a lot, about how helpful it's been with what it's done. Never heard of Hyperdot. Last of Us Part 2 is just, hey, do you want to turn on all these cheat codes so nothing ever hurts you and you have infinite ammo and the game's a joke? And it's like, okay, no, that's just you want a mod menu, the game. And I just don't have time for that. So I guess I will give it to Grounded because of how much I've heard about it. Also, for a split second, I'm going to detail and talk about these. There's 3 codes, one on a wall, one in a chest, and then one on a second wall later on. The order of the codes is, the first code is 53995, which is the first one on the wall. The second code is 39396, which is the item in the box, and then 46949 is the last code that was the second on the wall. Just in case you're watching it and going, well, hang on a minute, did I miss anything? Yeah, those are your codes, so don't worry about it. I accidentally also equip the hairpin by complete accident, so I have to go back and reorganize it. I was like, whoa, hang on. But carrying on, we got Best Action for the best game in the action genre, focused primarily on combat. Doom Eternal, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, Neo 2, Streets of Rage 4. I gave this to Neo personally because I love the energy. But I know it's probably not going to win it, and I know I'm probably on my own on that one. I just like it when you go light armor and really commit to a weapon and just go for it. It feels like the game just explodes open. But Streets of Rage 4 will probably take it because, let's be honest, it probably deserves it. Half-Life Alyx, can't speak for. Hades is really damn fun, so maybe that one as well. And Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal, there's a lot under the hood. You just gotta learn it all. And I think on a casual audience, I don't think enough people will vote for it to win it, even though you could arguably deserve it. Best Action Adventure, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, Ori Will and the Wisp, Jedi Fallen Order, and Last of Us Part 2. I gave this to Ghost of Tsushima. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, like I said, haven't played Creed, can't speak for it. Spider-Man is fun, but my issue is always in the actual gameplay. It feels like it's an issue I had with the Arkham series as well. If I go for an enemy, I don't want to just kind of warp over to them. I want it to feel like I have to be in control of everything, and it feels like it's always looking for something to take the control away. There's still a lot you can do, but I'm just not keen on it, so I just can't really give it to that. Ori, like I said, beautiful game. Don't know if it will get it though. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, I think, was too much of a mixed bag. It was such a glitchy mess at launch. And although people liked it, it was still very... so I don't think that will get it. And Last of Us Part... Fucking, let's just move on. Best role-playing. This one's a hard one, because both Final Fantasy VII Remake and Genshin Impact are on it. But there's also Persona 5 Royal, which I'm glad it's on there, because Persona 5 Base just got avoided, which there's a lot of people agreed was just kind of a shame. But there's also Wasteland 3 and Yakuza Like a Dragon. This one's a tough call. Putting Wasteland 3 to one side, because that's the only one I just don't think's winning. Yakuza Like a Dragon has done fantastically well, everyone's loved it. Persona 5 Royal did really well, everyone loved it. Genshin did really well, everyone loved it. Final Fantasy 7 did really well, everyone loved it. It could go either way, and I'd be honestly happy with any of these getting the awards. They all equally kind of deserve it. I personally threw my vote on Genshin, but I honestly would be happy with any of them winning it. Best Fighting Game, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, Street Fighter 5 Championship Edition, and One Punch Man, A Hero Nobody Knows. Oh, I'm sorry, and Under Night in Birth EXE Late's Clear. Under Night, I think, deserves the recognition, so there's a part of me that hopes it gets it. One Punch I can't speak for, I haven't played it. Street Fighter 5, I kind of wish that was on ongoing games. how much they've given to that game to try and make it as good as possible since its launch deserves to be commended, and so I kind of feel like it should be there, but I don't think it's the best fighting game out of the lot here. Mortal Kombat 11, I'm not really a Mortal Kombat guy, so I can't really speak for that, but Grand Blue Fantasy Versus is the closest fucking thing I'm getting to a new Persona Arena game. It took my vote. Best family game, Animal Crossing. I vote for Animal Crossing. Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. Fall Guys, because I don't want Fall Guys to get all the awards. Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, which wasn't that great. Minecraft Dungeons, and Paper Mario Origami King. I haven't really enjoyed the Mario Party games since the original games. I haven't played Minecraft Dungeons. Didn't like Mario Kart Live, found it boring. Fall Guys, like I said, I feel like it's going to get too many awards. Crash Bandicoot 4, I so want to play. Other things have taken priority, so I haven't done it yet. But Animal Crossing, yeah, no, I think that deserves it. Best simulator of strategy. We have XCOM Chimera Squad, Microsoft Flight Simulator, Gears Tactics, Desperados 3, and Crusader Kings 3. I haven't played any of these, so I'm going to give a vote to Desperados 3 and move on. Esports games. I give zero fucks about esports. Fuck it, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Well, there's also, to go through the nominations, there's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. When my phone stops lagging out. There's sports game number 1 when it gets to it. Come on, nearly there. I don't know why my phone is like lagging out all of a sudden. Well, there's NBA 2K21. There's fucking FIFA, which definitely does not deserve it. F1 2020 and Dirt 5. Best multiplayer: Animal Crossing New Horizons, Among Us, Call of Duty Warzone. Fall Guys is probably going to win it. And my phone's lagging out again. We'll get there eventually, you guys. I promise. Oh, and Valorant. I put it on, personally, Among Us, because I feel like it deserves it, even if it's still... Now here comes the rest of them. Content Creator of the Year. Alana Pierce, Jayan Lopez, Nick Merckx, Tim the Tatman, Valkyrie Ray. I think that's how they pronounce it. Like, I don't watch any of these people. I don't care. Best debut game: Carrion, Mortal Shell. I voted for Mortal Shell. I'm just waiting for the rest to load in their own time. Raji and Ancient Epic, Roki, and Phasmophobia. Ooh, Phasmophobia I don't think should be on here, if I'm honest. I don't think it should be on this list because it's not full release. It's still early access. I think until it gets its full release, I don't think it should be on there. I appreciate it's getting the recognition, but I feel like, no, not yet. Esports athlete, don't give a shit. Ian Crim6 Porter. I don't know you. Heyo Showmaker Sue. Kim Kayun Jeonbu. Anthony Shot Z. Kuvas Castro. And Matthew Zaiwu Herbal. I probably butchered all your names and I'm sorry if I did. But I don't care. Same with esports coach. Danny Zonic Sorensen. What fucking name is... Dahi Krusty Park, Fabian Grabiz Lohman, Lee Zephyr Jamin, Raymond Rambo, Lucia. Don't know any of them, don't care. Esports events. Well, I know what's not going to be on there this year. It's not going to be Evo. You got the Blast premiere, Call of Duty, the I Am Katowice, League of Legends, and Overwatch Grand Finals. Not sure how I feel about having 2 CSGO events on here, but whatever. I guess. Premier Spring Final, I don't know. Best esports game. Okay, let me read these first. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Counter-Strike Global... okay, CSGO. Fortnite... Is Fortnite I didn't know Fortnite was even an esports game. I didn't think you could with how much is randomised on it. There's too much against you. League, because there's always League. And Valorant. For the sake of mixing it up, I'm voting for Valorant, but I don't actually have an opinion on many of them.
So I just don't. I've never cared about esports host. Alex Golden Boy Mendez, another Alex. Machine. When it loads. Oh god, the next one's esports team. God, I just don't. I'm sorry, guys. If you're like really into esports and you're getting annoyed at me not caring, I'm sorry. I've never cared. I really haven't. But I think I've talked over as well. I had to backtrack to get that other key. I think I got that in the end. But yeah, Effige Solkut Deportere, so if I butchered your name, James Dash Patterson, and Jorian Shiva van der Huygen. Sure. I don't have a... Look, I just throw a vote at random. I don't really... team. Day One Gaming League. Dallas Empire COD. G2 Esports League again. San Francisco Shock Overwatch. And Team Secret Dota 2. Team Secret's a cool enough name. You can have the vote. Oh, and that's it. Okay. So that's it. That's the list. I like the list a lot better than we got the past couple years. I think as a whole it's a better list. I think the biggest issue I have is that for no good reason, The Last of Us 2 has got like a dozen like nominees, and it doesn't deserve any of them, in my opinion. The only one I could be justified on is the actors, because the actresses give it them all, and I would never blame them for the issues of the game when they're doing their best as a performer.
This is what a perfect victory's like.
Oh, it made my It made my phone crash. The Game Awards app. Thanks, Game Awards. Nice to know that you're so well handled. But outside of that, I think the rest of the list as a whole is really well done. That's my only real gripe.
But we have got back to the actual gameplay now. I've talked about it because that's kind of my main topic, and we've still got another 20 minutes. I think it's a good list as a whole. I just have problems with Last of Us 2 because it's such a bad experience. It genuinely is. Gameplay is an improvement, but everything else is an insult to anyone who's ever cared about it. And I didn't really care about it. I tried to go in with a very neutral, casual mindset, and it's very aggressively in your face. Fuck you for a lot of the game. It's like that doesn't deserve anything. It just felt like they didn't care and they wanted to throw everything to the wayside to try and mix it up and then chase a message that they didn't understand how to portray. And so instead of portraying that message clearly and effectively, just left you going, well, that was a waste of time. And any story that makes you feel that way should not be given an award for anything. Throughout all of this area, there are these doll-like enemies that you see that I always go out of my way to whack just because it will wind them up enough to get them to run away. And that's pretty much it. You can kill them, I just never get the chance to. If you want to stand the chance, you need to get an all boost and then do the attack boost and just really commit to have everyone attack it on one turn, and maybe you'll get lucky. They drop a mountain ton of experience if you can kill them, but at this point it doesn't matter because you would have crossed the line of 99 by now. I'd be very surprised if you haven't crossed that line by now. Which means you'll be leveling up literally every single fight. Which past level 99, it's a soft level cap. So you don't get the same stat boost past level 99. You'll get like 5 extra HP and that's it. So it's really not that worth it. The main reason you want these level ups is because every single level up, even post 99, is a free full HP and SP restoration. So you get a group wide full heal every fight. And that's it. That's all you end up caring about. You will not care about anything else. You just take the free extra. But this is such a big flaw. I'm surprised to get through it, and unlike last time, the boss fight is actually a long one because it's a unique boss. We're done with the references to the first game. It's only unique bosses from this point onwards, which is nice. It's appreciated, but at the same time, I wouldn't have minded if they carried on the references. I mentioned it last time. I feel like they missed an opportunity to have a Rapuka fight in here just to acknowledge her existence, and they could have just played some music of the first game again. I feel like that was just a real missed opportunity to not throw Rapuka in here. I like what we got, but oh, come on. That's kind of how I am with it. But you see, I'm gonna hard push to try and kill that one, but it just, as soon as I attack it, it leaves. So it's just, okay, never mind. Well, at least I got it out of the way. And there is a, like, earlier on, it's why I had to backtrack. There's a part where there's 4 curse ball doors in a row. And it's because you're supposed to collect all 4 along the way. And I only had 3 because the very first one, like the first room after you start the floor, is just in the back corner and I missed it. What is it? Everyone's level 125. Like, remember in Death End 1 when everyone crossed level 99, like, before we entered? And so everyone was like 180 something by the time we reached the end? Expect that to happen anyway, even though we got there much later. Because you just skyrocket in levels. It's the same as the first game. The amount of experience they ask from you past like 9 drops dramatically because it just doesn't, they know it doesn't really matter anymore. You're only getting an ever so slight boost. And because it's not defensive, it's literally only your max health boosts by like 5 or 6 points per level. It's just, the levels are worthless. They really don't mean anything. Because loads of more health but the same defense will only mean so much. Also, that was an accident there. That little flick there, I was trying to actually get both of them in it. Because one of these big flying guys is in here as well. Remember them from last time where they make themselves invincible? Like, as soon as I saw him, I was like, okay, I need to kind of deal with that dude who's floating around. But I wanted to try and deal with these guys because they're such big threats while I was at it. And then this guy just rolls on over and makes him invincible because of course he does. He also heals himself, just to really wind up my day. Because even though we don't even going for half an hour at this point, in the back of my mind, I'm very conscious of how long these could end up being. And so I was trying to get a move on, and so this enemy just delaying everything so much, I was like, come on. Because I was worried that the boss fight at the end of this area was going to have to be a separate video. I'd lost track of time slightly, so I didn't know, and it felt like I'd been going for like 45 minutes by now, when in fact I hadn't. I've been going on for about half an hour. And it's just because I'm conscious of trying to keep the video lengths shorter, because it can't go over an hour. Literally, on the Share Factory, it limits you. And so if you lose track of time, I get paranoid of how much time's passed, and I end up thinking it's longer than it has been. But because everything but that big guy at the back has had a turn since its invincibility, I can just go on the aggressive again. And you'll see me sometimes just go on the aggressive even when I know it won't do anything, solely just because it's turn wasting, and I can't be bothered to just spam bus. But now I'm like, okay, I need to prioritize this guy, because he's gonna just be a menace and heal himself and just ruin my day. And as they very nearly kill Liliana. Oh! If it hadn't healed, it could have committed to killing Liliana, but it didn't, and I'm grateful. But we managed to get rid of at least one of the enemies. But I'm like, look at it, she's like, oh! Again. I don't know why that always makes me laugh, just her with her hands on the knees. She just looks so knackered, she looks so exhausted. I just find it funny.
I might be the most powerful.
Ooh. But if it's, the whole time we don't have the Phil Slate, I'm worried about how much damage an attack's going to do. And you can see, like, because we didn't have it, the Glitch Form's protection only did so much. Rotti's like 2/3 down. So like, I buff up the healing, and like, I gotta reapply this because we're in any danger zone. Even if there's only one enemy left and we kill it this turn, it's always better to be safe than sorry. Well, sorry, next turn. So I'm like, yeah, now I can push for the kill because we should be fine. There it goes. And then we let everyone's glitch forms burn out, and I think that's it before the boss fight. Which I said is a unique boss fight. Oh, but firstly we've got to go get this. And I do it the wrong way round. You're supposed to go to the PC to your left first. You're going to see me hop up here, turn around, there's just nothing there, and I'm like, oh, right. Okay, where's the PC? There it is.
That's all you mind.
I'll examine this.
And assuming I get it out tomorrow, after tomorrow's part, all I've got left is showing off the other party members, because I've never shown them off, and I didn't in the pain area because I did the pain area as soon as it was available, so that restricted me to my Rotti and Liliana again. I'm still on the fence. Also, we picked up the Hell Hook, which is a great defensive weapon, but not a great offensive weapon. I'm still on the fence a lot of how much I'm going to show of the alternate paths with the teammates, like when Sheena gets to send out her text, who you send the text to, just because of you have to do 3 chapters worth of content each time just to see those scenes. But before I continue that train of thought, here's the boss fight. You actually get to fight the Shadow Matter that's been chasing you. and it's actually a relatively challenging fight. The main thing that's annoying about it though is that it can heal itself up to 5 times, and they are big heals. There's 500,000 health it will heal off every time it does it. Early in the fight, you're going to see me prioritize magic attacks because there's lower magic defense, but because of the sheer crit boosting off the physical attacks, I eventually just lean back into physical because I can just get more damage out quicker. Well, I eventually just stopped bothering. But after the extra scenes, assuming I show them, which I'm still on the fence with, I've just got gallery. The gallery and showing off the rest of the cast and what they can do, I'll probably put into one video alongside the credits and make it the very last thing I do. 1.5, if I've already said, will be its own video. I might do 1.5 first. I'm really undecided how I'm going to handle that. Like, I know what I'm covering and what I'm not. It's just what order. The only thing I know is going to be last is going to be the character showcase and the gallery, because that's very just last little extras that I can squeeze on at the end and then still fit in the credits afterwards for one last loop. What I'll also be showing off is the alternate intro, because something I didn't get to show you in this because of how awkwardly handled it is. The very first time you beat the game, and the very first time it is saved in the system that you have beat the game, there is an exclusive cutscene that will play, but the way it works is that it's not tied to a save file. That when it loads up the load screen, the very second you click continue, instead of coming up with your load screen and all your save files, it will hard cut to a cutscene where you hear about the end birth plan, which the end birth plan was something that was brought up in slightly more detail throughout the story with the Lydia scenes, and is just a giant sequel bait for the 3rd game. But because after that scene plays out, you see an alternate version of the intro cutscene where it's Lydia instead of Mai in that intro scene, with the music and everything. And I'll be showing that off as well, since I haven't really had an opportunity to at the end of everything as well while I'm at it. But that's all you miss, because there's nothing else I can really do. Like, I can't show you that scene really unless I wipe the entire game from my system file and do the whole game again on a completely fresh save. But I'm just not up for doing that personally, just to show off that one little scene. So, it is what it is. The Shadow Matter as well, this boss fight, you're going to notice, good luck wall bouncing this motherfucker, like between the 3 of you, because its hitbox is still tiny. The other thing to be wary of is that it has 2 versions of Ruthless Tear. It has a Sun version and a non-elemental variant. The Sun version hits you like 6 or 7 times, not for much damage, but it rips into a lot of damage. So you just gotta be wary. If someone's around half health, they will die. If they're at full health, they tend to survive. But the non-elemental version, I don't know this for a fact, but I feel like it's a guaranteed instant kill. Like, I don't know it for a fact, but every time it's successfully got that attack on someone, they've just died and it hasn't presented a damage number. They've just died. And the fact it doesn't present a damage number is my biggest reason why I think it's just an instant kill. If you've got invincibility, it won't affect you. But if you haven't, if it uses it and it connects, you won't see a damage number, the character will just collapse. And you will see that happen. I think it happens to Rottie at some point during this. It just turns and uses it on her and it connects and she just dies. Which makes sense when you consider in the field, if you run into it, it's just an instant kill, it gets you. But, oh well. And you're probably looking at it and like, hang on a minute, how is this fight another like 8 minutes long? 8 or 9 minutes to go. It's nearly dead already. Well, that's because it's going to start healing soon. Like I said, it heals 500,000 per pop. And it does it a lot. I think I don't think it does it the full 5 times. I think I just get lucky and its AI scripting works in my favor enough for me to get around it. But it's still kind of like, it heals itself a lot coming up.
I might be the most powerful. I'll kill you. You're in the way.
But on the plus side, yesterday when I said, oh, I might not be able to upload today, I managed to get around to it. It was just a little bit later, which I said was a possibility that it might just be later. Also, once it goes to heal the first time, before it does it, it will put in total counter. Total counter does what it says on the tin. Absolutely anything and everything that comes out its way, except Valley Fresh, will be brought back to you with an aggressive move, with a counter attack basically. But because Rossi went first, I just committed. I was like, no, I'm just going to use the Valley Fresh and get rid of this problem now. And it doesn't, I don't know if it can do it again, but at least for me it never does it again. So I was very appreciative of that.
You're in the way.
So I just got to carry on attacking the thing.
One more. Here I go.
But after this, you're going to start seeing it use that 500,000 heal often.
I'm going.
Because it just throws out. The thing with I think the most more frustrating thing with Ruthless Tear is that it doesn't really have an animation. It just swings its fist and suddenly you get hit 9 times. Like, there isn't like a really dedicated fancy animation that justifies why it's so powerful. Especially when it's the instant kill variant of it, when it's the non-elemental attack. Like, it just swings and the character falls over and it's like, what, huh? Like, there's no like effects. It literally just does it and it goes. Also, I try and seal it, but I think it's immune to everything. Also, during this floor, I didn't mention it because I was too busy looking at my phone, going through all the Game Awards stuff. There was a point where Liliana got afflicted with stop. Or, like, time stop. So she physically couldn't do anything until it passed. It takes an eternity to pass, no pun intended.
There.
But it will also actually carry out outside the fight, which I didn't notice until that recording. I thought it would just like everything else, it had been removed, that it'd carry off. No, just like Poison, it will carry on after the fight. So if you don't deal with it, your character just won't be able to have a turn when you go into the next fight. So pay attention to that. You can see I get so close to the kill here, and I think it just barely survives it. Look, it's got nothing left, and then it's just going to heal it away and drag this out for another 6 minutes. There it is, 500,000, and I'm just like, oh, you bastard. But you see, I even like shook the camera left and right, I was like, ah. But I am wary at this point, and it's why you're going to start seeing me use the ultimates for characters. We don't have any glitch spots, and it's not attacking everyone at the same time. So the glitch percentage is dropping to 80%. So now, like with my here, I'm like, well, I've got to do my ultimate for the extra damage, because otherwise it's a waste. So I look around like one last thing, so there definitely isn't any. And I'm like, okay, no, let's use the glitch attack. Buff it out. See how much we can get out. I leave the animation in as well because it's been a while, and I like the fact that if you leave the animation in, the explosion of the previous attack is visible in the background. Like, you saw that at the start, as soon as the animation started, you saw the explosion carry on behind her.
Disappear. You're in the way.
And we get it, like, to a pretty good place health-wise again. Just wait to heal itself again anyway. There it is.
I'll do my best.
And thankfully it's still not using non-elemental Ruthless Tear that much. So we've been doing alright so far. But the moment it starts, you need to be wary. On the plus side though, 2 of the 3 party members have free access to invincibility as long as you can maintain Mai's glitch form. So Mai is safe for now, and Liliana is always safe. It's just Rottie we got to be wary of. Well, look at the damage drop off. Now we're not in our glitch form. We're doing 10,000 per hit, now we're doing 3,000. But there's the non-elemental. Oh, okay, no, I did see a number there. I saw 4,300 hit her, which she was never going to survive after that previous one. Okay, so I take it back. I don't think it's a guaranteed instant kill. I just didn't see that damage number the first time I fought it. It just hits like a truck, so you got to be wary. The plus side is because the like Ruthless Tear, the fire version, hits you like 7 times. There's a good chance you'll get glitch form out of it. Also, I just didn't realise Liliana was at 80%, so that was a bit of a waste. Sometimes I just lose track of what percentage people are at. But having Mai at glitch form, that's a godsend. Because of how much her raw damage is. Good old Rovid Ball and any attack that comes afterwards. Look at that. Ugh. Back to normal. Back to good damage. And because we can get wall bounce out of it as well, we can really lay in the hurt as it heals itself, I think, for the last time in this fight.
It's my turn.
I think. I don't want to assume, because I'm not actually sure. But at this point, I'm like, But then, to make matters worse, SP, you know, the thing that hasn't been a problem all game, is now starting to be a problem, because we don't even have the glitch spots to restore SP. This fight's been going on so long, that's a concern now. So you can see it, I'm starting to be a bit more weary. We're not doing too bad. Like, if you haven't been using SP items throughout the adventure, you should be alright here. If you have and you're low, just space out your invincibilities. If the thing is clearly not targeting Liliana, don't use the invincibility. Save it for when you need it. which, as I've said before, it will target what's closest or if people are together. Like, people are together get priority over closest, but if you can space people out, it will just attack whoever's closest, so you can use that to your advantage. But Liliana's SP is the one that's most likely to run out first because of Phil Slight and Aegis Absorb. Both of them are very draining. And for good reason too, they're very powerful skills.
You're in the way.
But yeah, looking at the video length, assuming it doesn't heal itself right now, I think that's the last time it heals. Also, it has a non-elemental attack. Can I just bring mention to that? Can we have non-elemental attacks in the third game, please? Like, can we have access? Like, they doesn't have to be many. They don't have to be that powerful. Like, I'm not asking for like Megiddo levels of power, like in Persona, like the Almighty element. Just non-elemental, one non-elemental skill would be really cool. Give it to Lydia. Make Lydia non-elemental focus. That would be so cool. Like, even if the trade-off is that you make her a glass cannon or something, make her non-elemental. That would be so cool to mess around with. It really would. Because my Rotti and Sheena will cover the bases of the elements anyway, and I'm sure if assuming my theory of they will add an extra 2 is right, they'll add an extra 2. My dream team is that they'll add Rapuka in there as well, but I think that's not likely. I think like she might be addressed in the story to an extent, or at least I hope so, but I don't think she'll be main party. That's still not enough to kill it. And we're starting to run out of resources here. Well, I said we've got the SP restoration, but like everyone's either in glitch form, or on the edge of glitch form, or just not. So I'm like, okay, this thing needs to die soon. It's just causing more problems. I think it's attacking the one that's invincible. Yeah, keep doing that. Yes, yes. Go right ahead. Give us another star beam. Any more? And at this point I'm like, okay, so she's at 80%, so I've got to use the glitch attack as well. And try and maximize damage. And I think it hangs by a thread after this one as well. But next turn we do finish it off, I think. And I still stand by the fact that I feel that Liliana's animation is undercooked. It's not as good as it could be. And you say, get lost check, 60,000. Can we do 60,000 in one hit? I'm like, I'm pretty sure even without glitch form I can probably do that. So there's around 17,000. Another 17,000. Okay, it's dead. As soon as I saw the wall bounce, I was like, okay, that's it, it's over. It's not living that. But that's it, that's the Shadow Matter. Probably the more interesting fights in here, and the only real interesting fight. That being said, next time on Death End Request 2, we're gonna maybe finish up the pain area, assuming it doesn't take 2 videos. But until then, you guys take care now.